Take a look at the map of Hawkins High School. This is in Stockbridge, Georgia, and it used to be the Stockbridge High School. Turned it into an alternative school when they built a new high school, but that closed down in 2015. They started renting out the building for movies. We want to look at how Stranger Things used the property. The Stockbridge Elementary School is still there and functioning as an elementary school. Now in the show, when middle school kids are dropped off the buses or car riders, however, they walk up this hill up towards where the Stockbridge Elementary School is. You can see here the water tower on the map. However, once they are going into the middle school, now they use this part of the building of the high school. When you see students entering or exiting out of the middle school, it's on this part of the high school. All of the high school, when the kids are going into the high school, is shot from the opposite side. And this main hallway, when you open up the doors to go through here, I would say most of the shots in the high school hallways were shot down this hall and maybe another turn or two. And even when you look in from the middle school side of outside, when you look into the hall down into the hallway, you still see the Stockbridge High School colors. The cafeteria is located here, and it serves in the show as both the middle school and the high school. Anytime they're in the cafeteria, they're in this cafeteria, as well as the gym is the exact same gym. They just changed the colors for the gym, with the blue when it's the middle school and with the orange when it's the high school. This area over near the gym, the only time I recall seeing this little bit of the area is when Hopper and Joyce are out waiting for the kids as they're in for the dance. Most of it's dark and you just get this angle of the gym. But I think that's the only time you see this part of the, on this side of the gym. And there's not much around here. There's a ramp, a couple loading docks. It's really old. Of course the whole building is old, so it's just kind of old and there's just not much there. As you come on around, now you get into where some sites of the building were used. This first area as we come around, as you may remember, is where you've probably seen it in a few places, but I remember specifically Max riding down her on her skateboard down this ramp. And this is pretty realistic because the boys are watching from the gate, and this gate is just right over here by the ticket office of the football field. And it would be very realistic. They could be standing on the one side as they are, looking over at the ramp. A lot of times they splice these areas together and make it look like that, but this would have very realistically would have happened this way if they're watching her come up and down this sidewalk, or the ramp rather. Then when they lose shot of her, she's now going up the steps into the cafeteria. They turn to the other side and look out. The gate's closed where I'm looking now, but it's exactly where you would stand to watch her go up these steps into the cafeteria. So very realistic there. As we come on around now, we see this is the little area that is shared by the high school and the middle school. But we see several scenes take place here.
Yeah, he's always paranoid Gerstie's gonna give him another pop quiz.
Step right up, ladies and gentlemen.
I go with toothless. I told you a million times, my teeth are coming in.
On around, we get towards this little alleyway. When Steve had come out of PE class to talk to Nancy, they're standing in this aisle talking after the party. Now, This is quite a distance from the gym. As a teacher, I think about how in the world are you letting these kids get out and just move all around like this? I mean, I'd want to know where my students are. I know most TV shows and movies, they don't really worry about that kind of thing, but I can't help it. I'm just like, oh, golly, how can you let him get all the way over here? Now you see in the background there are students running the track, which is also very stereotypical of a PE class, out running track and playing basketball. The scene where Chrissy, she comes out, we see her come out of the parking lot, and this is very realistic. She turns and she heads down walk between these buildings, which you do, and you would come right to this area where you see the kids most often. She walks right through and down the steps of where the grandstands used to be. There are no more stands now. There's just nothing there except for the previous steps that used to be there. She walks down those steps. She walks across the football field, which now is very grown up, and she heads over and goes in deep into the woods. Now you'll notice here on the picture there's tree line here, and so when she walks through it gives the appearance she's going into the woods, but you see there's the main highway right here behind it. So that's where it takes you to somewhere else, where they film the woods somewhere else. But that's one thing that is not actually there. There is no forest back here behind that tree line. Another scene right here, right through the alley. Dustin comes and they're looking for the baby Demogorgon. Dustin arrives here at the middle school and he walks towards the left side as you're looking at the building. And then he ends up coming down this alleyway, which I'm not sure how he'd end up getting there. So there's one where they kind of just piece that together, because he could have just simply walked on around this way. But maybe he's walking around, he's looking for him, and he comes out that alleyway. But he comes out, and then there's a dumpster set here. They're going through it, trying to find the little guy. And so there's a scene there. Now as we come on around towards the front side, or it's really the back side of the high school, but we see what serves as the front side of the middle school. And there was a phone set up over here that we saw Will on at one time. And we see the driveway and the parking lot up here. But this is where the parents would pick up students outside in front of the building. And the buses are set out here a little bit too. And again, it was supposed to be up at the elementary school, but they had already started the process of demolition of the school when we were at the location. However, looking at other YouTubers' posts, it appears that there's a fence that goes around the perimeter of the land. So luckily we got there in time to be able to see and walk around the area and be able to take in a lot of the scenes that happened from the series. So this was our tour of the Hawkins High School. I hope you enjoyed the tour as we took you around to show you the different areas and possibly give you a different perspective the next time you're watching the show and you see some high school scenes.